Cosmo, no, not right now. I'm about to repot some stuff, which you're not allowed to be anywhere near. Okay, this is an expensive plant. Hello, friends, and welcome to some amount of time of some amount of plant chores. I'm not entirely sure exactly how long this video is going to be or what I'm going to get up to in this. I have a list of a bunch of plant chores that I want to get done, things that I've noticed that need repotting or potting up props or like maintenance, all the fun things. And we're going to do them together over the course of a couple of days in this. Before I get into that though, I want to say, if you're new here and you don't know me already, hi, my name is Emma and I make houseplanty content all over the internet. So if you want to follow along with my houseplanty journey and maybe learn something along the way, stick around, watch some more of my videos and subscribe to my channel. If you are not new here, welcome back. I really appreciate you returning. The first thing we're going to get up to today, I have set up just here, is potting up my Philodendron Ilsemanii, because I got it with some incredible roots. I believe all of these are water roots. That is what the seller had it in before I bought it, and I have just had it in water since, and it does actually look like it's putting out more in the few days that I've had it. I don't know if you can see, there's like some like tiny white ones branching off a lot of it, which is very exciting. It means things are going like in the right direction with this. I'm not killing this plant, which is good because it's a scary plant to have added to my collection, seeing as it's so freaking expensive. But I need to pot it up, and it's not a normal soil mix if I am correct. Basically, all of the advice I've gotten this has been from Planting Ashley. We talked about the Ilsemanii in our like influencing each other video.
Sorry, I'm like pitching this to you so hard, so you have to like this.
She influenced me basically to get myself one, and I did, and now I have to trust her as a somewhat expert on the topic. And basically she suggested doing a like dirty sphagnum mix, which I've never grown a plant in that before. I've grown plants in like pure sphagnum moss or soil, but never dirty sphagnum. So we're gonna make one up today, and hopefully it goes okay. I'm hoping my plant likes it. Ashley, if you're watching this video, please tell me if I've done it wrong. Very well may be the case. So I've got a bowl here. I've got all kinds of different bits of substrate that we're gonna mix in together. So let me shift the angle on this so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better, and we can like get straight into this. I'm scared, guys. This is actually scary because this was such an expensive plant. I mean, not the most expensive plant by any means for me in my collection, but like kind of getting up there. I think I got a massive bargain on this one, so I'm scared. Okay, I think this should work. Obviously, in my dirty moss, the first ingredient I'm going to add in, if I can open this up, is sphagnum moss. And that'll be like the bulk of this. Oh, that's actually kind of a big piece. Maybe it was too big, but we're going for it. Cosmo's gonna get up in here, and I'm also gonna cut it into smaller pieces because the sphagnum moss from Soil Ninja is quite long. I mean, that's not a very good piece to demonstrate it, but like the strands of it are quite long, and I want to shorten them a little bit so it's not as long and stringy, a bit more piecey, if that makes sense. So I'm just going in with some scissors to trim it down. I've never done this before. You know me, whenever I do stuff that I've never done before, it makes me so nervous and like anxious. I like knowing what I'm doing and being good at things from the beginning. And I feel like with a new plant in a new growing style that's so expensive. I'm a little nervy girl, but I think I will be fine with that. Hopefully Cosmo doesn't eat any of the moss that fell on the floor. Okay, so that's the base of my dirty moss. Some nice sphagnum, and I think I like that this is fresh stuff. I know you probably can do this with the dried stuff, but I don't have dried stuff. I'm going to next add a little bit of quite fine orchid bark. This stuff here, quite fine stuff, not tons, because as far as I'm aware from the research I've done and speaking to Ashley, the Ilsemanii doesn't like really chunky mixes. It prefers things a little bit finer and I think slightly more moisture retaining if it wants to be moss, because I feel like that holds on to a lot of moisture and stays quite moist, or you usually keep it moist most of the time. So add in the bark there. The next thing I'm adding is a little bit of biochar, basically like carbon, and I think this is good for making sure things stay healthy and like clean, I believe. I'm not 100% sure what you use this in soil. I'll put it on the screen, but it's in all of the Soil Ninja mixes, and so I'm just going to add it in as a little bit of an extra bonus thing in here. Can you see Cosmo? Yeah? You being silly down there? Silly boy. I'm just going to mix this in as well. And then the last thing I'm going to add, I probably should have added the biochar last because it's all up in my hands, is some perlite / pumice for like a little bit of drainage. So this is my perlite pumice box. It's just a mix of the two, which, I mean, it's moist in here as well, so make sure that there's no like dust coming off of it. There might be some zeolite as well. I think that's what the colored rocks in here are. But just a little bit of drainage. I think this will help keep some air gaps in the mix because you don't want it to be too tight, because then it's so much easier to overwater because the roots won't have access to air. So keeping some sort of aeration in there is, I feel like, good and important. And actually this mix looks pretty decent. I'm not mad at this. That is what my mix is looking like. I genuinely think this looks pretty decent. And like, if I were a plant, I wouldn't be mad at being in a sort of mix like this. And I'm gonna put this in a clear container, or a clear-ish container, an aeroid tower pot, because that's the only clear pot I have that's approximately the size I need for this root system. I feel like this is kind of the perfect size. And I do want to make sure that I'm keeping the new growth point on here not buried underneath the substrate too much as well, because I want that to be able to come out quite easily. So we're gonna, oh, do I want to add drainage at the bottom? I can always change it. Let's just go in with my nice mix, and we can pop this guy in there like that, and then add more on top. And I'm gonna be super duper careful not to like press down too much on the fine roots, a little bit to like get it in around them, but not tons, and to hopefully not bury the growth point too much. think that looks pretty decent in there. And I've kind of done it so that it's lower on that side in hopes that the new growth point is like visible a little bit. I have made definitely too much of this stuff, but I feel like this would actually be a really good like propagation medium. So maybe I could take a prop and use the rest of this. I don't know what I'm gonna prop. Let me have a quick look around and find something to propagate in this. Hey, get away from that stuff. Okay, I have just grabbed my very, very long and very, very runnery Synapsis mint variegation. This guy, again, this is another one similar to the, I don't know if it's the Aurea or whatever the other one is I have, but I just let it get so long and runnery that I'm tired of it. And I have got some props in soil propagating, but I wonder if this would actually be a better prop medium for this one. So we're gonna give it a go with this one today. Yeah, so just going to, honestly, I'm going 2 leaf cuttings and then cutting the bottom leaf off because I want each cutting to have 2 nodes. If there is a runner bit, I will accept that as the bottom node. But it gets to a point where the leaves are all like very small down here and not very impressive, so I'm kind of not worried about it. Okay, let's do that. Hey, excuse me, baby, get out of there. And with this, I am just going to plop it into the pot here. All of it. Oh, maybe I need more. This is the thing. I thought I had enough, but I think I need more. But I was just going to stick these cuttings in, and we can add more on top / around it. And this is going to be a no drainage situation because it'll need to stay quite moist. So I think that should be okay. And it's quite likely that some of these will fail. I'm pretty much expecting that to happen, but that's okay. I'm fine with it. Some of them failed last time, but some of them are taking, and so you just have to roll with the punches, I think, a little bit. So let's make a little bit more of the sphagnum mix. I have some slightly older sphagnum here as well that I'm chopping up. This is stuff I've used previously, and I feel like for this, that's perfectly fine. I just didn't want to use old stuff for my new plant because that felt scary. So better to be safe than sorry there. Mix that up, and then we can kind of plop it around all these cuttings to make sure the bottom nodes are all covered in this moss. If this works well, then this might be my go-to propagation medium. I feel like it has all the makings for success. I don't see why it wouldn't go well. There we go. I feel like that actually looks quite good. And I'll be sure to water it. I need to water the Ilsemanii as well, obviously. So I'll water both of those. And that was the first little task. I really, really hope this works. I have high hopes for it because, like, look how pretty that is. It looks so nice in there. And not that, like, prettiness correlates to good growth, but, like, you know when you see a good soil and you're like, ooh, that's nice, that's pretty. that's how I feel about this. I don't know. I have high hopes. Just going to pot the Ilsemanii into this cash pot here. It's a nice tall one that I got as a gift, and give them both a nice chunky water. But not too chunky, because like obviously I don't want them to rot. But like I want them to be moist. I feel like that should be perfect for both of these. I want you to be mine all alone for all time. I want you to be mine all alone for all time. I want you to be mine all alone for all time. I want you to be mine The annoying thing now, though, is I've just gone on a run and I want to take a shower, but I have to move all my plants out of the way in order to do it. I wish I had 2 bathrooms, or like an outside space or something. That would make things so much easier, but alas. I've got to move all these out of the way. It's the worst.
And I'll make the fish.
What I didn't do yesterday that I wanted to do was add more moss to the top of these poles, because they've reached the top. I mean, my mandula, I took the one that was at the top of this one here, and I've now looped it back around, so it's going downwards. I did that previously at the top of the old pole a couple of times, but I still think it would be beneficial to get some new moss in there, and then we can pop cups back on top, because that is my preferred method of watering, rather than those IKEA things, which weren't really my jam. But basically I just really wanted to have a shower yesterday afternoon. Surprise, surprise, I just got on a run. So that like wasn't my focus. Putting moss in these was not my focus first thing when I got home. The annoying thing about this one is that it does not stand up straight on its own. So I just have to hold it up. But such a messy process. I probably should have done this before I always forget that this is a better thing to do before you like give things a massive water and like rinse off, because I sprayed off all of the leaves and like basically dusted this whole thing, gave the whole plant a shower. And I should have done this first, because then I could have cleaned the leaves from all the moss that I'm going to get on them as I do this. But I, at some point, will need to chop and chop and extend this moss pole because, as you can see, it is very tall as it is right now, and it can't really get that much taller in my space currently. I also don't think I have any more. I don't think I do have any more chunky poles. I have the one I took off my Rafita Tetrasperma, but like, that's going to be used for my Rafita Tetrasperma. I guess that one has time, so I could just use it on this one and buy more of these chunky poles at some point. But there we go. And I just need to do some, oh gosh, I'm getting it all over Cosmo. But it is properly getting cold again now. I feel like this is the first time y'all have seen me film in a jumper in months and months and months and months and months. And it's sad. It makes me sad that the growing season is ending. But I mean, I guess it's probably for the best, seeing as my plants have been growing so intensely these past few months, which I mean is the best problem to have. Like, I'm not mad at that by any means. It's been a lot of work and a bit of stress, especially since this year has been quite a lot in general. I don't know why, this year's just been chaos. Like good chaos, but still chaos. So, I think it'll be nice to have things slow down a little bit. I'm just gonna have to hoover after this. And then I've got a nice big cup for this one. I should probably clean out the holes in the bottom because they do look a little bit clogged. But either way, this is going on that. Oh, am I a genius? I'm like digging a little hole for the cup to go in. Hopefully that will make it like, one, a little bit steady. Because like what I liked about the IKEA things was that it went down into the moss. Maybe I should build in spaces for the cups in my moss poles, like properly, maybe not dig it out, but like make space for the cup in, so it like slots into the pole instead of sitting on top. And then potentially it'll be less likely to like drip down all over the place, because that is something that happens every now and then, especially when my poles get a little bit hydrophobic, which they do every now and then, especially last time when I was just coming back from holiday. And now I have to do this for all of the rest of them as well. So, mini montage, I might put on an audiobook because it's more fun. But yeah, let's go. Okay, good morning, friends. This morning we're going to do some begonia prop potting up things, as well as sorting out what the heck is going on with my pink spot. I do have some props that I've taken that I could put into it, but I don't know. I feel like it's just a bit all over the place right now, and sorting it would probably be a good idea. So I've pulled out my potting table and my pond box and a potting mat and stuff, and we can go about it together. It's also extremely dry. I should probably have watered this, but you know, I haven't. Part of me is wondering that maybe the pink spot isn't for me, and it's not because I can't grow it, because I can grow it fairly well. Like, imagine this standing upright, it would look freaking great. And I've propagated it about 1,500 times. There's so many different cuttings in this, but I feel like it's just a little bit too pinky for me. Like, I've just broken off this leaf because why not? But like, look how intensely pink it is that I feel like it's just a little bit too much. And I don't really need that, so maybe this is something that I can chop and prop up for the plant swap coming up in October. There is going to be one, which is very exciting. I'm no longer part of another plant swap. I basically like haven't had the capacity or brain power to like work on it or think about it at all in the past like year. And last year was like, it was really, really fun, and I loved working with another plant swap or on another plant swap, but it was just starting to overwhelm me a little bit, and I have like loads of other things like going on in the works behind the scenes, and so I need to like focus on those instead of the plant swap. But it's in very capable hands of my co-founder, who we set it up together with, Lisa, and so it's still running. There's one in London in October, which is super duper exciting. So it's in good hands, and I'm excited that it's carrying on, and I will still be going to them when I possibly can. But I feel like chopping and propping might be my favored choice in this. I wasn't actually expecting that to be the case until I've pulled this out. This has just been sitting in my Rudsta, and like it's just very obvious from the start that I want to trim it, because this just doesn't look good. This isn't what a quality plant looks like. And it's purely my fault because I've not been giving it the attention it deserves. But I feel like this happens to me a lot with like any sort of new obsession, like of genus I get into, like the early on stages of it. It's like I want to collect every single one I possibly can and try everything I possibly can get my hands on, which is great, and it's like so important to do that at the beginning of like collecting any sort of plant, just to like try things out and see what you like and see what you don't. And in the past, it's gotten to the point where I get like really, really overwhelmed at how many I end up having that I don't necessarily love 100%. And so I think this time, taking this step of not keeping all of it and not popping these propagations, which I do have in here, that are doing very, very well. They're super rooted and everything, but I don't need to pot these up. I don't. And like making that choice, it feels like really big of me. I'm propping a prop. It feels really big of me to make that decision and decide to not go forward with the pink spot. Because I was thinking about it and I was like, okay, I could put this in a bigger pot because it was pretty full out on this one. I could use a bigger Elho pot and grow it really big and bushy. And my mind was like, there's so many begonias I'd rather use a better pot for than this one. So like, if this isn't top priority, why would I use a good pot on it, if that makes sense? I don't know about you, but like, my favorite plants always go in my favorite pots because, I don't know, it's just preference, right? And so I think if I just have hella cuttings, I can propagate these for the swap, basically. It's kind of a nice bouquet, which is fun. And I can bring them to the swap. I can probably end up not selling some necessarily, but like trading some on in the future, and just like I don't need to have everything all the time, which is something that has taken me freaking 6 years to learn, that I don't need to have all of the plants all of the time and keep all of them and love all of them, because it's just far too much for me to do that. So I am just going to pop these to the side. And sorry, the cats are underneath my chair and maybe not fighting, but like I'm aware of them. But I'm gonna pop these to the side in the kitchen, and I'll put them in a thing of water in a little bit, because water is the best way I've found to propagate begonia cuttings. They actually loved it. And I think I'm going to dismantle this one completely. Okay. Big choices here. Yeah. So proud of myself for making that decision, because I feel like normally I get so overwhelmed with all of them that I end up giving up on all of the genus, which I know I'm very all or nothing in growing, which is like not great. But I am just going to chop all these back to nothing. And then I have a pot of nothing. Oh, actually, we're going into autumn now, and so now's a good time to do this with a lot of my begonias. Maybe I'll make a video on pruning begonias back to nothing in the autumn time, because I feel like that's a better time to do it than spring. So yeah, I could keep this and grow more from it, but after everything I've just said, I don't think it makes sense to do so. So I'm just going to accept that the pink spot is not my plant, and that's okay. But you know what is my plant, or a plant that I absolutely love, is my Don Miller Maurice Amy joint pot. And like, yes, it doesn't look perfect right this second. It's it could be happier, that's true. But I do have some propagations in here, which actually, I don't know why all of them look like the silver one, because I know there's got to be some of the pink in here. I know there is, but like, why has it gone so much more towards silver? I don't know. But essentially what I want to do is add more into this pot, and I will pop a trellis in as well. I've got a nice, one of my iridescent ones, which I feel like is perfect for the vibe of having the joint pot of the Don Miller and Maurice Amy. So that's the plan. I still like it in this sort of trough pot. I just need to empty out some of the semi-hydro and like pop the cuttings in, if that makes sense, because these are also like very, very, very well rooted in here, these cuttings. So let's go. I am gonna root prune this. So there's some roots just down here that are coming out and just sitting in the water. I'm root pruning them off because I don't need those roots probably. So just gonna dump a bunch of the semi-hydro out so we can put more in. There we go. Pop that in there like that. And then we can take these cuttings. Oh, that's why this one was like barely in the water, and so it hasn't rooted very well. So I do just have like way, way more of the silver one, which is okay. I'm not mad at that. But I am just gonna plant more of the silver one in this then, and that'll just have to be, it'll have to be okay. And I will be able to prop more of the pink one soon. I'm saying the pink one versus the silver one because I genuinely don't remember which one is which. I want to say the Don Miller's the silver one, but I could be completely wrong in that. I was hoping that if I had propagations of both, that I could make more of a like sort of mixed joint pot of this, but unfortunately you can see I don't have that, and so I can't quite yet, unfortunately, but that's okay. It doesn't need to be perfect right away. I always need to tell myself that because I'm such a perfectionist, that my brain's like, it needs to be immediately exactly right, exactly how you would want it, all of that stuff, which is like, no, chill, Emma, relax. It doesn't need to be like that. And then I can pin the ones I do have up as well to the trellis. so it's not so leaning forward. There we go. I could just wash that semi-hydro. I'm not like in the need for it right now. So just going to add some more fresh stuff in, and I may as well do like a whole wash of it, because if I have this one and that other pot, I also have another pot in the kitchen already that I need to wash and sanitize. So may as well just do a big round of semi-hydro boiling. I think that would be a fun thing. It wouldn't be fun. I think it'll be a thing I have to do. But I can do that this afternoon. Right, there we go. It just has the tiniest bit of pink in there, which is fine. I mean, y'all saw I just decided I didn't want my pink spot anymore. So pink obviously isn't my favorite of colors in plants, but I do like it. So it's one of those things where, like, in some circumstances I like it more than others. I am just gonna dump this water. I can't show you properly. You can see how brown it is in there. But I'm gonna dump this water and refill it with some fresh stuff, just to give this a little bit of a rinse, because it's not good for plants to like sit in like really silty water, I think. Got some clean, fresh water, and we can go back in there. Lovely. time to water my plants. So the last time I watered everything all at once because I had just gotten back from holiday. And while that is all well and good, right after I get back from holiday, it is far too much if I am just doing a sort of everyday water. So I'm trying to get back onto my sort of, what do you call it? Just like spreading things out schedule a little bit, because I don't want to be having to water everything every day. Not every day, all at once, because it is just too much for me. So I am just gonna go give some things a bit of a water in the office today. Oh my goodness. Because things seem to be a bit dry in here. I suppose it has been like 10 days since I watered. So it's been a minute. But like, not that long. No, that actually is kind of a long time. Especially in like the summer, winter sort of transition. It's still fairly warm, and because I obviously have grow lights, things are still staying quite like they're growing. Things are growing. That's the gist of it here. My plants are growing, but I seriously need to do a bit of a rearrange, because there's a couple plants on the top shelf up there. It's basically my euphorbias that are touching the ceiling. And I can't lower that shelf, so we're just gonna have to find another place to put them that's under just as intense of a grow light, which is easier said than done. Also, I need to find a cup for this moss pole. I mean, maybe I should fully shower this plant off. This is my Florida Ghost, which I think is doing really well in there. Like, all of those new growth leaves are properly coming in. Let's just try. I know it's dehydrated, but let's just give the cup a go. And if it just ends up going all into the pot, that's fine. That's fine. Okie doke. Ah! I don't spill the water everywhere. There you go, you can see my euphorbias literally on the ceiling there. So I'm gonna need to find new spaces for them ASAP. And can you believe how fast this one has doubled in size? Since May, it has doubled in size. How crazy is that? But maybe I can do a sort of big rearrange-y kind of video in a little bit, and do a lot of resetting of things and like finding new spots, because we've gotten to the point now where Cosmo has just like free roam of the house 24/7, and so it doesn't really matter if I've got toxic plants in the office or in the bedroom or whatever. It is what it is, and so I may as well just have the toxic plants in the bedroom too, because it'll give me more space again, instead of everything being packed kind of into the office here. Just watering my pingdom. It's doing okay. I feel like this one is the one that's doing the best in here. I don't know which one it is. If I can find it, I'll put the name on the screen. But it's doing fine. A lot of the like small ones I had, I think they've moved on, unfortunately. Or like they didn't root. Like I've got this tiny little one. I don't know how to possibly show you. It's in my nails there. Tiny little one, which keeps falling off of the rock because it's not rooted into it. Just friggin' root. Please. Oh, frig, I just poured water on the floor. It's okay. Right, I'm gonna stop trying to show you this now. And keep keep watering. But I also just have like a lot more space on these shelves at the minute, on this shelf in particular, because I don't have tons of plants that are within this space size range. Basically, pretty much everything I have is taller, which means it needs a taller shelf, and I can't, I don't know, I can't on this shelf get rid of this one as well, unless I went for like a proper, like really merged these two. I suppose I could do that. I prefer not to though, because I do need some small shelves. So now that I've given these things a good water, I think this is where I'm gonna end this video because I have to get this up this evening. So I need to get going on it. But before I properly sign off, I want to say a huge thank you to the newest members of my Patreon, Zoe and Jeremy. Thanks for joining in. I really hope you love it over there. If anyone else is interested in joining, the lowest tier is £3, and for that you get pretty much all of the things. That is where my bulk of my incentives are. There's bonus content, access to the Discord server, live chats, polls, all those fun things. The other tiers are more just if you have more and you could potentially support more. I'm giving you the option, but totally cool if none of that is your thing and you don't want to join at all. Also totally fine. If you do, the link is down below in the description. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up down below and leave a comment on other houseplanty things you'd like me to create content about in the future. If I mentioned anything in this or like glazed over anything and you want to know more on it, let me know down below, and I can hopefully make that happen for you, and subscribe for more. I hope you're having a fantastic day and you were able to maybe get some plant chores done during this time as well, or you just like had a good time relaxing. Either way, I hope you had a great time, and I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to keep growing. Bye!